Factsverse presents Most Creepiest Mugshots Ever Taken. Number 1. Facial Tattoos. This man didn't always look this creepy. Before he stopped washing his hair to create dreadlocks and before he decided to tattoo his entire face, he was likely just another face in the crowd. If you're going to tattoo your entire face, you should expect to be easily identified by witnesses at the scene of your crime. This man obviously never thought about that before getting tattooed and taking up a life of crime. Number 2. What happened here? The man in this mugshot looks extremely creepy. The marks on his face were made by a magic marker, but it makes you wonder why he has marker all over his face. Was this his disguise before he went to commit a crime? He would have been better off wearing a mask. Number 3. Hair or worms? The man in this mugshot has very strange hair. Maybe he was arrested because people thought that he was Medusa and he was running around town turning people to stone. Since Medusa is a character from Greek mythology, this must be his real hair. Maybe he was arrested for shoplifting the massive amount of hairspray required to make his hair look like this. Number 4. The Mean Nerd. There are several physical characteristics of a nerd. The major characteristic, though, is the big glasses with tape in the middle. The man in this photo looks very much like an angry nerd. No information about who the man is or the crime he committed, but he certainly looks guilty. Number 5. What is he wearing? The man in this mugshot looks crazy. Most people would not want to see this man in a dark street or alley. He resembles Charles Manson, except for the strange hood and hairnet that he's wearing. There's no information regarding the crime this guy has committed either, but it likely has something to do with fashion. Number 6. Tattooed forehead. The man in this mugshot looks very creepy from the tattoo on his forehead to his beady eyes. He's not smiling, but he is opening his mouth enough to see his missing teeth. He looks pretty calm in this photo, which leads you to believe that this is not his first run-in with the law. Number 7. Chosen from a lineup. There are plenty of reasons that people tattoo their entire face. There's a gang that operates all over the United States and other parts of the world who worship Satan, and they tattoo their faces to please him. Over the years, this gang decided to stop tattooing their faces because, well, if they committed a crime and there were witnesses, they would easily be identified as a member of that gang. Well, this man obviously didn't get the memo. If there was a lineup involved in this arrest, the witnesses probably had no trouble selecting him. Number 8. A broken nose. This man looks like his nose has been broken numerous times and it was never reset properly. If he has an extensive criminal record, it's likely that most of his arrests were due to fighting. Judging by the way his nose looks now, he probably wasn't ever the winner in any of those fights. Number 9. Facial tattoos. Rather than wearing an eye patch and a bandana, this man thought it'd be a great idea to have those things tattooed on his face instead. The odds of this man getting an office job or even a second job interview are slim to none. Number 10. The Shirtless Clown. This is a strange mugshot. The man looks like a clown, but without makeup. He also doesn't have a t-shirt on, which leads you to wonder what he did to end up in jail shirtless. Well, considering the clueless, surprised expression on his face, I'm not sure he knows what he did either. Number 11. The Comb-Over. The man in this photo has a very unfortunate hairline. He seems to be unwilling to accept that he is losing his hair, so he's chosen to go with the very noticeable comb-over method. He looks mean in this mugshot too, which is probably because people were making fun of his hair. Number 12. Seriously under the influence. The only thing that would cause a man's eyes to roll like this is something chemical. Judging by his mugshot, he was obviously arrested for being under the influence of drugs and alcohol. He wins the title of having one of the most creepiest mugshots ever taken. Number 13. body modification to the extreme. There are millions and millions of people in the world that have tattoos. There are plenty of people who spend several hours in a tattoo artist's chair. The tattoos on this man's face do not look like they were done by a professional. Chances are they are jailhouse tattoos. With the tattoos looking so bad, it's the man's tongue that's the most disturbing. He went through a body modification to create a fork in his tongue, similar to that of a lizard or a snake. Number 14. Too many muscle relaxers. The man in this photo looks as though he took one too many muscle relaxers before he was arrested. He's struggling to keep his head straight, and he has no control over his mouth or his tongue. And, there's a very good chance that he was arrested for being severely under the influence of something. Number 15. A demon among us. This is by far one of the creepiest mugshots ever taken. This person must have scared everybody in the police station, including the mugshot photographer. He has wild hair, a strange scar on his head, and his eyes are completely white. There's no information regarding the crime that this man committed, but it could have had something to do with Satan. Number 16. Granny under arrest. The woman in this mugshot looks like she's very old. Her skin looks like an old leather handbag, and her face is covered in spots. Judging by her looks, it's highly unlikely she was arrested for a white-collar crime. If you have to make a guess, well, she was either arrested for public intoxication or maybe a domestic dispute with her husband. Either way, this is a very creepy-looking mugshot. Number 17. When you just can't stay awake for your mugshot. The man in this mugshot is either extremely exhausted or extremely under the influence. What other reason could there be for this man to be completely unconscious while they're taking his mugshot? His eyes are completely closed, his mouth is wide open. There's a good chance he was probably snoring when this happened. Number 18. Man? Child? Baby? This is one of the strangest mugshots I've ever seen. The man has average-sized eyes, a large nose, and a very tiny mouth. It's hard to tell whether this is a man, a child, or a baby. Since most children and babies don't get arrested and have their mugshot taken, this is just a man with some very strange facial proportions. Number 19. What is he thinking? If looking bizarre was against the law, it would explain the reason this man was arrested. The front of his hair is shaved, and he has some very disturbing-looking dreadlocks. He has a very weird tattoo outlining the shape of his face to make it look square. If he thought that he was improving his appearance, he was dead wrong. And that's not how you get a square jaw. Number 20. He wants the world to know that he is a white supremacist. There are some people in the world who are racist, and there are some who take their racism to the extreme and they call themselves skinheads or white supremacists. The man in this mugshot wants the world to know that he is a lower form of life, so he had skinhead tattooed on his face. Judging by his appearance, he was likely arrested for a hate crime. Number 21. Arrested for unlawful use of makeup. If applying your makeup like a clown is a crime, that's probably how this woman was arrested. Since being terrible at applying makeup is not a crime that you can be arrested for, this woman may have been arrested for being under the influence. Drugs or alcohol could explain this awful makeup job, too. Number 22. Arrested for a horrible haircut. If you could be arrested for having a horrible haircut, that would explain this guy. If that's the case, well, his barber should go down with him. Anybody who's willing to do this to another person's head, they should be arrested and charged as an accomplice. Number 23. Jailhouse tattoos. Many people who spend time in jail have other prisoners give them illegal tattoos. Since tattoo equipment is contraband in jail, most jailhouse tattoos are terrible. Well, this photo is a perfect example of that. This man has writing tattooed around his eyes, and the tattoos are so bad that you can barely read what it says. If he ever decided to turn his life around and stop getting arrested, he's going to regret those ridiculous tattoos. Number 24. A true OG. This is one of the strangest mugshots ever. The man looks like he's at least 70 or 80 years old, and his face and head are covered with tattoos. Thanks to the expensive wrinkles on his forehead and above his eyes, he looks like a crazy person. Judging by this mugshot, this probably wasn't his first arrest. Number 25. Escaped mental patient. If this man didn't escape from a mental institution, he might belong in one. His cold, dead eyes make him look insane, and his crazy hairdo doesn't help. Chances are his sanity has been called into question numerous times. Subscribe for more!